Let's go back to Mr. Trump. We'll have more questions about Silicon Valley in a minute, but was the timing of your donation in any way related, the donation to the Trump campaign, in any way related to the revelation of the Access Hollywood tape about Mr. Trump?
No, I mean, I think the tape was, extremely poor taste, extremely inappropriate, as I said. I didn't think as much even about the donation as I should have. My general perspective on this year was that money actually didn't matter that much. The candidates who raised the most money on the presidential level did incredibly badly. I didn't even think that Trump needed my money. He hadn't raised that much money. They hadn't asked me for money. I hadn't donated, and so when they asked me, I wasn't sure they needed it, but I thought I'd go ahead and write them a check. But I didn't think that much of this connection, and of course, I didn't think anybody would think that you would donate to a candidate because of the worst thing they've done. You support candidates normally because of the things you like about them, not the things you dislike. And it's odd. And I think almost all the people who are voting for Trump are voting because of the sense that the U.S. is very badly off track, and that perhaps we have to do some things to fix it.
You mentioned in your speech that Mr. Trump is not necessarily humble. But are you concerned about some of the personality traits, the comments about women, his more bombastic style? Are you concerned what that says to younger Americans and says to our political discourse today?
Well, I think we've been pretty clear this year that there are a lot of things that are beyond the pale, and I think there are things that Trump said a decade ago that even he would absolutely no longer say today. So I think I think that part of our discourse is getting policed adequately, and will continue to be policed adequately. I think that the temperament, the kind of place where I worry about that most on a policy level is, do we get into more wars or not? And I'm not sure whether that's sort of a matter of temperament or more a matter of worldview, but certainly I would worry much more on that with Hillary getting us into wars. The nuclear one, which is the most dangerous, probably involves still a confrontation with Russia, and I don't think Hillary Clinton has accused Trump of being overly hostile to Putin.
But are you concerned about Mr. Trump's temperament when it comes to the nuclear codes at all?
Well, I think he wouldn't even get us into a situation where it would be even close with respect to Russia. So I think if you actually look at the specifics, where might something happen, where might something go wrong, I would think that in some ways Hillary's much more dangerous than Trump. I don't think Hillary will get us in a nuclear war either, but it's a much more confrontational foreign policy.
What about Mr. Trump's temperament with other countries, North Korea, China, that could pose some trouble if he were elected president because of how he responds?
Well, North Korea, has been a problem for a long time. I think at this point it's actually more a problem for China than for the U.S. It's a pure client state of China. I don't like the way China is managing it. I'd like them to do something to change things around rather than tolerate the horrible dictatorship that exists there. But I think China will keep it a very bad, very unhappy, but a very low volatility situation.